Silvertips country, it is an exciting day as we are proud to introduce the sixth head coach in franchise history. He is a 10-year WHL veteran as a head coach with a Memorial Cup title under his belt, as well as an associate with the 2014 Edmonton Oil Kings. He's also a three-time AJHL Coach of the Year. Steve Hamilton, welcome to the Everett Silvertips organization. We are thrilled to have you on board. Now that everything is all said and done, the dust is finally settled. How does it feel to finally be named the head coach of the Everett Silvertips?
Oh, it's very exciting. I'm, obviously proud to be part of the organization. Everett's one of the premier spots in our league, and really has a long tradition of success, and just felt like a really good fit, and been patiently waiting immigration and all that goes along with moving. So, um, super excited to be part of the community and part of the Silvertips organization.
This is a bold new venture for you. I mean, I know that Alberta has been such a home for you over the last decade plus. So, what excites you the most about being able to move south of the border? Probably haven't had to do that since your Northern Michigan days back in the 90s.
Yeah, yeah, moving. It's been a few years since I've lived in the States, but I'm uh, obviously very excited. It's change of scenery in terms of conferences. Very familiar with the Central, um, and now moving into the United States division is, uh, one of the toughest divisions, if not the toughest division year after year, and certainly a really good challenge night in and night out. And I think that just having the chance to be part of the group and part of the organization, plan to move things forward. I mean, there's an excellent foundation already in place, and really excited to have had a chance to meet the organization, meet the people involved, the coaching staff. Everybody had a chance, obviously, to chat with Mike and Zoran and get a feel for the organization, and I think we all felt like it was a really good fit.
In those conversations with Mike, because this is an exciting period in the franchise's history, because you are becoming the new head coach at the same time as Mike Frazier gets to ascend to the general managerial position. So, in those early conversations with Mike, how aligned are you two with your vision for the future going forward as you go lockstep as a tandem here going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the most critical relationship in the organization, quite frankly, is, the head coach and the GM, and being philosophically aligned on the way you want to play. And, it was really good in talking with Mike and Zoran through the process. And, Mike had his, you know, they sort of understated, like, we kind of like how we play here in Everett. And I couldn't agree more. I just think that uh, we only saw them once a year, but in the Central Division. But Everett's always been known as just an incredibly difficult team to play against, fast, tenacious, in your face. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that uh, the fans they play in front of in the building and the atmosphere. I can tell you from a distance, it's one that you circled because you knew coming to Everett was going to be a great uh, the atmosphere would be unbelievable, but you knew you were going to get the full experience when you walked through the door, fans included. So Everett has always been one of those places that's really has a charm around the league, has a reputation around the league, that a really tough place to play. And in talking with Mike, it was really important that we build on the things in Everett that we do really well, and the atmosphere that's created and the style of play. So I'd say we're absolutely aligned on those kinds of things for sure.
Have you had the opportunity much to introduce yourself to maybe some of the core players in the room? What has the communication been like on the player front?
Yeah, I had a chance to chat with them and reach out, and going to obviously extend that now a little bit more, and meet with them later this week. But really positive interactions, and the guys are excited. I think last year the team really started, you could see the emergence of some of the young players, and the important roles that they played, and how important they're going to be going forward. You look at obviously the core of returning defensemen, and there's just really a lot to like about where the organization is positioned. And I felt like it was an opportunity to come into a situation where the team's on the rise, and that was really, really exciting.
With the trajectory that this team is on, it brings to mind, some of the great teams that you've been a part of. And 2024
Yeah.
is the 10-year anniversary of the Memorial Cup victory for the Edmonton Oil Kings, which you were a part of. How did that experience shape you as a coach, and how hungry does it make you knowing you've got a pretty good shot at that in the next few years?
Well, I mean, when you work towards that level of success as an organization, you've got all kinds of depth within the organization, depth at every position. You've got players that elevate and rise to positions where they're big time players, and certainly a lot of things have to go right and have to align. And uh, being part of, I was part of the ascension of the Oil Kings to Memorial Cup, and then obviously took over as head coach, and we went to a full rebuild mode and I always felt like our job as a coach is to get the most out of our group wherever we are in our cycle. And if we can max out the potential of the group, that certainly is the goal year in and year out. And you just look at some of the returning players, some of the fresh faces that are on the way here in the organization. All of those things are really exciting and gives you an opportunity to build that depth and build an identity. And, I think Everett's established its identity in the division, in the league. And so a lot of those foundational pieces are already in place. And that's exciting because sometimes you walk into situations as a coach where you are starting, on on the uptick of your cycle or on the downturn of your cycle in junior hockey. And those can be, trying times and long years, and certainly feel like Everett's on the serious uptick, and some really good young players on the way.
I know that every hockey player loves to stick to a routine. They love to get into their own rituals and their own cycles. Would you describe yourself as a ritualistic or even superstitious man? How do you approach
Nope, not one bit. I really don't believe in superstition. It's not a thing that it implies that you're looking to the universe for luck and that you have to do all of these certain things for things to work out. And, I believe in preparing the guys, believe in good relationships with the players, and making sure that, uh, we're all aligned in our thinking, and, making sure that we're moving the program forward together. And that's a big part of what I've talked about with our returning players, and will continue to talk about, is how important they are to establishing the identity of your team, and stylistically on the ice and how we play, but also the mentorship role that they have. So not really a superstitious guy. You won't see me rocking the same suit for 5 games in a row or anything like that. Um, I believe that be prepared, and let things play out.
And finally, Steve, perhaps the most important question. Let's say that you had control of the aux cord in the locker room on any given game day. What are you pumping? What are you getting fired up with?
You know what? I've always been kind of a mixed bag guy in terms of music and a little bit of everything. And I have to tell you, my daughters have really gotten me into country music. I was never a country music fan at all, and they've swayed me. And so I would say I'd probably have a pretty solid country mix right now I could throw on that would hold the fort for a period of time.
That's a very Albertan answer of you.
Yeah, probably safe to say. Yeah.
Well, Steve, it is a pleasure getting to know you here and getting to finally introduce you here to Silvertip Country. We're so thankful to have you on board, and we're looking forward to finally getting you here across the border and joining us here at training camp. Thank you so much for joining us, Steve.
Well, it's my pleasure. Really looking forward to, like I said, being part of the community, and I can't wait to, coach a team in that building and in that electric atmosphere. It's certainly much better than coaching against. So thanks very much.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Steve.